laughing your ass off at my team.
There's also...
Shut up! He's a lock. He's in your team, he's a lock.
Yeah.
He's a lock. What?
You don't even have the box. Did you not learn your lesson last? You also got Fife saying that he's going to become a full-time midfielder. Nice hair, by the way. And
I think it's weird.
played 3 games. Now, we said that last year. You know why? He's a year younger. He's a year older. He broke down last year.
After how many games this year?
They're always huge.
They're always huge. Have you seen him though?
Say it like that. You got Reed at F2. My Reed is at F5. There is a stark difference in our forward line. A huge difference in our forward line. My forward line will smash your forward line spacing.
So you're...
Hey guys, how you going? Geordie from SuperCoach Masters. I'm just going to go through my trades. I think I finally sorted them out, and I just want to share this with you before round 1 officially got underway. So this is my team, but before we get into it, I'm just going to have to shout out a couple of the boys who got their coffee shouts in a little bit late. And so Ray D, 5 coffees. Thank you so much, Ray. You're an absolute legend. Just watched a round 1 review and loved Jamie's fresh take on the super sub Sean Manor. As the super sub Sean Manor. At the same time, I also missed the Matty Zeeb, salt and pepper hair, and constant rubbing of Geordie's left trap muscle. Yeah, mate, my traps are incredibly sore without Matty rubbing them whole potty. We'll love to see the 3 of you chew fat in a potty in the future. We've actually done a potty where all 3 of us was there. We could barely fit in the frame, but maybe it'll be something if we can get us all together. We can do that. Just keep Jamie away from the big women in Geordie suburb. Now, Ray. There is news about that. I went out and Jamie was late, so I went to go see him and I found him. So this is a recent photo I found of Jamie, and maybe he doesn't hate them as much as we thought he did. Look at that. He's just playing a bit of b-ball with them at the beach. So yeah, I don't know, Ray. I think it was all good on that part, mate. All right. CJ Samut. CJ, cheers, mate. 3 coffees. Absolute special. How good is coffee, lads? Love it, mate. Guys, by the way, ignore the disco lights behind me, but just thought I'd get a quick body out. I'm getting rid of the Fishman this week. I don't know if you should go up to the Heaney or down to Billings or T. Berry. Already have Flanders in the mid and Jackson forward. That's pretty good options with your forward. Flanders and Jackson pretty good. Heaney could finish that off. Pierce, I think should reset the coffee shouts. No one is going to be able to catch the Coffee King Wahab. We actually did reset it at the start of this year, so he's already up there. And if we didn't reset it, he would be miles ahead. So just if you're ever going to catch him, this is your opportunity. Yeah, so Heaney, Billings, Berry. I'm going to speak all about Heaney, Billings, and Berry in the trades. So we'll get to that in a moment. Hopefully I can help you sort that out while I'm helping myself sort that out as well. Whiskey D! He's bought 2 coffees. What a disappointing opening round. Went too sexy with Duke Nukem, Martin, and Fisher. Now, as much as it pains me, I got to boot one of them. Should I jump on the Heaney train or play it safe and bring in Billings? Keep up the good work, fellas. Cheers, Whiskey D. This is an interesting one. I think you do need to get rid of one, not because they can't score well in the future, more because they're going to kind of go up. Well, there's other players that are going to go up in price, mate. So I think, we'll look at some of these options at the moment. I'm kind of leaning towards maybe Newcomb as that kind of price of a primo. He needs to be doing a lot better. Billings and Heaney, they're the interesting ones. We'll talk about them in my trades. Now, Docky bought me 1 coffee. Matt Hill, race caller. I thought he called the Melbourne Dogs game really well. So did I, Docky. Will there be a SC Masters live feed this season on Geordie Matty commentating a match sim live match with a colourful commentary? I would absolutely love that, Docky. I don't know how it would actually go down. It's hard enough to get Matty involved in the podcast. So, quick look at the leaderboard. And we are off to the races. Wahabi and Samut. Who would have thought this rookie who came out of nowhere absolutely killing it? Lukey Donlan, Ray D, Dave Turn It Up, the Brucey, and all the rest of the boys making their way. Thanks heaps for your support, guys. Really do appreciate it. And just let's talk some SuperCoach finally. Okay, so here's my team, and as you can tell, $0 in the bank. Not happy with that. I would love to just get Gipkus up the Massimo and be done with that. So I can't do that. So I need to make some money. So the only way I can make some money, the only people I can really trade out when you really think about it is Zach Fisher, Nick Martin, and I don't think there's anyone you could really trade out to make money to get, because one of my trades is definitely going to be Gibcus to Massimo. It's really confusing me here with Gibcus and Williams' picture and Williams here with Gibcus' picture. But yeah, that's one of the trades. So that's one of the 3 trades if making 3. The second trade, now to get this money, it's got to be Fisher, it's got to be Martin. It's going to be one of these blokes. You can't touch anyone from the defense because other than Massimo, there's no one really good to downgrade to that I don't really have. So I can't really downgrade to Stewart, not like I would. But if I was to go Stewart to Massimo, then I still need to upgrade Gibcus to someone. Leaves me with the same problem. So with much regretty spaghetti, it's got to be Zach Fisher who's coming out. Now, the options for Fisher are very limited in terms of you can only get someone that's below his price. So let's get rid of Gibcus as well and trade in the Massimi. Here he is. Massimo's in. So that's one done. So we have 304k in the forward line to pick a player. So now I want to talk about each of the ones you're probably considering. Let's talk about Tom Berry because he's got 104. Okay, and he's priced at 163. Now, Tom Berry, he's projected to go up around about 100k with 100k with these 50s. And I don't think 50s is going to be an out there projection. I think he had a sensational game against Adelaide, 104. Can he replicate that kind of numbers? I really don't think so. I mean, if the owners got him and he got another 100, they are absolutely off to the races and flying. But that's about 100k, about 110 maybe if he gets some 50s. I'm just looking at his first game against Richmond where he got 62. 6 possessions, 3 tackles and a behind. If he does this as in any other game, that could easily be a 30. So that's kind of scared me off Berry a bit. So if he gets a 30, that question's going to dry up. Okay, it's a bit of a risk. Is he going to get a 30? Is he going to get a 60? I was also looking at Gold Coast. A match like this is very easily subbable. He could have been subbed. And if I was to get Berry right here, let's just trade in this dud. So I'm already not going for Berry. So spoiler alert, no Berry. Wow, I can't even get this. Just getting Berry, complete the trades. Now, the bad thing is if I have Berry in my team now, next buy, I'm going to have Cadman missing, Sexton missing, and Berry missing. And that's just me without Heaney, Hogan, or anyone else you might have from that buy would be missing that round. And you're thinking, yeah, it's fine, best 18. But for this, I want to get as many plays on the field as I can. Because if one of these duds gets a 30 or a 40, more of those shit numbers are coming out. So I want to make sure I have a full team to field even on the buy round. So that's me personally. So I can't really go for a Berry, especially when I think he can get 30. So for me, Berry's not my answer. So I won't be getting Berry. If you do get him, I don't hate the idea, but I just don't know how well he can score this year. 50s are fine. I'm not going to pick him up for 50s. Then he's got the bye next week. So I'd rather be looking at someone like maybe even Billings. Let's have a look at Billings. Oh, he's not there. He is. Jack Billings. So obviously, I was pretty hot on Billings. I've posted his projected price increases on our Facebook page if you haven't seen it. If he does get 66, 60s, so roughly maybe about an average of 62 here, he's made about less than 100k. You know, he's pushing around 80k, so that's a bit worrying. If he does get about 70s, I think he can push to 100k. But what does concern me is, yes, he had an absolute great game against the Bulldogs. This game where he got 11 in the sub, he still played around 34% game time, or thereabouts. I know it was over a quarter, so I don't quote me on his game time, but I know that it was significantly higher than a usual sub because of the Bowie injury. When Bowie got injured, Billings came on, and he only mustered up 2 touches and 2 tackles for over a quarter of the game. So that kind of puts a bit of contrast between his massive score with 15 marks against the Bulldogs, which is an absolute sensational game, 20 kicks. So I was getting Billings because I don't mind his buy. You'll be trading him out before then. If you did get around 80s, I think that's a really good 150k. 80s is best case scenario, I think, for Billings. If he can pump out an average of 80, he will make you 150k. So if you believe Billings can get 80, go for it. I had him in my team for a while, then I decided not to get Billings. So I'm not going to be getting Billings either. But I would have him slightly above Berry, not in terms of money making, but points on field. I think Billings should get maybe 20 or so points, 20, 25 points more than Berry. And now that I'm not going to get either of them, I've got to find something else. But with the case of Billings, you're going to get points on field and make a bit of cash is what we really want to focus on. We want the money and the points on field. There's no point sacrificing your team to make a bunch of money if you're not going to be scoring well anyway. So Berry or Billings, I would probably go Billings. But keep in mind that first sub-affected game, he did play over a quarter and got 11 SuperCoach. It's something to consider. Now, there's not many options left unless I make another trade. So the person I was considering pretty heavily is, for this amount of money I have, I'm going to be looking at Ollie Dempsey. Obviously, he was the rising star for this week. I think if he gets another good score, even a 60, I think that he will be and must pick up next week. And if you pick him up next week, then, and you're not picking up Musselmore, or you don't have Jeremy Sharp or Carroll, there's so many players that you'll need to pick up. So let's minimize a bit of all the players on the bubble next week that we want to pick up. Let's get Dempsey early. I think that's what I'm going with, guys. Obviously, he's not going to have that kind of game every week, but let's look at some positives. He doesn't have the bye next week. He's 20k cheaper than Berry. And I think he's going to, 15 touches is pretty good for a forward. He had, I think, at least, 7 of those touches outside the forward 50. So he got them further up the ground, which is really good. 3 goals is an absolute bonus. I'm not expecting that every week. If I can get some 50s, 60s from him, that'd be more than happy as a bench option. And it does free up a bit of money. So I do think I'm going with Ollie Dempsey at this stage. So let's just complete that. Now, for this, I got one trade left for the boost. The only person I can get rid of this stage is Martin. I don't think anyone would disagree that in this team right now that I have, the only person that you could possibly get rid of is Martin. Now, I'm a bit apprehensive when getting rid of Martin for a couple of reasons. Number one, his possessions are really good. 25 touches is pretty good. His time on ground, which you would expect from a winger, they got really good tanks. His time on ground was about 92, 94%, something like that. So Nick Martin can definitely really increase that score. I am expecting such a much bigger score from Nick Martin than 63. Mason Redmond is out, who took 6 kickouts. So you expect some of those kickouts to fall on Martin. So that's going to raise that floor a little bit higher. So they're the reasons why I should keep Martin. Now, there's maybe 2 or 3 things I'm considering if I am going to be trading Martin. So if I do trade Martin, one of the first trades I'm thinking about is, now with Took Miller, Flanders, Noah Anderson, Rao, all these boys, I'd rather be spending an extra 30k and picking them up after the bye for points on field. Sure, Matty Rao can get another 130, but I'd rather spend an extra 30, 40k and pick him up after the bye, which I'm not going to plan to do. I'm not going to pick up any of these players except for maybe Flanders, which I'm happy to pay for after his bye. So I just sort of maximize the points on field. Risky strategy. Let's see how it pans out. Now, the first trade I'm considering of doing is Sarong. Bit of a corrective trade. It's not... Now, I don't really like this trade because it's more of a luxury trade. It's like, I really like Sarong. I had him in my team for my 2 of the team reveals I had, and I took him out. And this just makes me feel better. Not point chasing, because I don't expect him to get 170s. I'm expecting him to go around maybe 120s, being the main man in the midfield at Freo. Obviously, as a North Melbourne this week, which really doesn't hurt. So he's one of the players deep in consideration for Nick Martin. Probably not the smartest move, but it makes me feel the best. Now, let's get a bit creative. Let's get Fife up in there and get that Jesse Hogan. Now, this is disgusting, but hear me out. He's got West Coast this week, and anything under 120 is going to be a bit of a... is a bit of a wild one. Like, he got 113 against the Pies. He got 165 against North. And if he gets 108 against West Coast, which he should easily do, he goes up 71k. That's already money in your pocket. Another 100. And if he gets 120, he only has to get like an 80 against Gold Coast, and he's already made 130k. Now, 130k is more than enough with 40 trades to make you really bang for buck, and you're getting points on field against West Coast. So this is it doesn't make me happy. He's got the bye. He's Jesse Hogan. He's a forward. But the money generation is probably the smarter thing to do. I like my team better with Sarong. But this option gets you the most money and gets your points on field for this week. And you're still left with I'm still left with a bit of money left after this. So, and then you could probably maybe even ride him out up until St Kilda. If he gets 160 or something joining against West Coast, you are laughing to the bank. You're absolutely laughing to the bank. And his even recent score against him when he was shit isn't too bad. 95 and 110, 109 last score against Gold Coast. So it's one of those disgusting trades that could work. Everything's lining up so it can work. But yeah, that's what I'm considering. And then there's also this absolute moron, Heaney, who's getting the most CBAs out of Sydney, completely by at least 5. A couple of positive things about getting a dud like Heaney in is that he's literally by far the best midfielder running through the midfield. Even Chad Warner's CBAs are not living up to Heaney's. Parker, I think it was Adams. It's only 2 weeks away if you're looking for a reason not to pick him. Obviously, he's got the bye coming up in, I think, 4 weeks. So Heaney's one you can leave out. Heaney's the one you can pick up now. I don't think you'll be getting him for much cheaper. So, but with Heaney's, it's a bit different from getting Hogan. He's not going to be making you 150k like Hogan is. He's already averaging 140, which is massive. And if he continues on I think this is a pretty fair assessment, 91, 111, 124, that's around about 110-ish, 108. And that's only going to net you a profit of about maybe 80k, maybe a little bit more if you hold him up until past his bye. So you think looking at about 80k if you get Heaney. I think Hogan can get similar points to Heaney in the next maybe week or 2. He's got the bye, but yeah. So I think Hogan's definitely going to make you more money. Heaney's probably going to be a better long-term, possibly a keeper. I think even when Adams comes back in 2 weeks, he's still going to get a fair bit of CBAs because there was that McInerney was getting 13 CBAs. So he can easily be replaced by Adams, and Heaney can still have that midfield role, unfortunately. So they're the 3 options. It's going to be Heaney, Hogan, or Sarong for Martin, or I can just keep Martin because I really like what he can. I really like his potential. So, but it's your last chance to get Hogan, your last chance to get Heaney, and Sarong you can wait a week. But Sarong against North Melbourne just looks great. So that's what I'm thinking, guys. What do you think of my trades? What would you do if you had my team? What are your trades? And if you're deciding whether you should play maybe Wilson or Cadman or Reed or Dempsey like that, I think it's probably safer to go. I think Cadman against West Coast should have a good game, so I'll be playing him over Dempsey for sure. Which ones? See, Ollie Dempsey, you got a picture of Wilson, and so I'll do this on my phone. But I'm thinking the Cad. If he does really shit and gets a 30, it's your best 18. So he's got a better chance of getting a higher score against West Coast. So that's what I'm running with, guys. Thanks heaps for tuning in on a quick trade podcast episode. I wasn't going to put Dacos vice captain, but it is his 50th game, so I am expecting big things from him. I was going to be going Gawn into green. Now I might be going Dacos into green or Dacos into Gawn. So nothing too fancy this week in terms of captains, but good luck everyone on their round 1 selections. Hopefully it's a little bit better than last week, and we can get some good scores, guys. Catch you on the next video. See you later.